before anybody starts complaining that, oh, this grown man is complaining about Toy Story 3 came out on June 18th, 2010. Father's Day weekend. Toy Story 4 came out 5 days after Father's Day weekend. Lightyear came out on June 17th, 2022, Father's Day weekend. And now we have Toy Story 5, also debuting on Father's Day weekend. Toy Story is an old man series, much like The Expendables, except one that they can bring their kids to enjoy with them. In this video, I'm going to talk about Toy Story 5 spoilers and discuss what worked and what didn't work in this movie, including a major continuity issue that my son pointed out to me that completely destroys the B-plot. Stay tuned.
A soliloquy for every movie, for Casablanca, Tommy Boy. He's here, it's him, it's Andrew Toy. It's Andrew Toy.
Growing up with a name like Andy Toy, all but guaranteed that I would be the greatest and biggest Toy Story fan in the universe. And I was, and still am. In fact, many of my friends called me Toy Story. Either that or Boy Toy. Somehow, I just couldn't live up to my name. Anyway, I was 12 when the first Toy Story came out. I saw it in theaters, fell in love, and the movies have gotten better with every installment, even as I've grown older. Toy Story 1 through 3 is the greatest franchise, equaled only by The Lord of the Rings. And the reason I share all of that is because I really wanted this movie to work. I may have broken up with Pixar. You might not like your ex-spouse, but you're still gonna want the best for your spawn. And so, like with an ex-spouse, it's like, go do whatever you want. Destroy your life. I don't care what you do. Just don't mess up our child. So even though I am an ex-Pixar and Disney fan, I'm not coming in here wanting to shit all over Toy Story 5. This truly was the one and only film that I held my hat on for the entire year. I have nothing to look forward to now. Nothing. Nothing. Dang it. Now, before anybody starts complaining that, oh, this grown man is complaining about Toy Story, he's complaining that Toy Story didn't meet his expectations, consider the weekend that Pixar continually puts out Toy Story material year after year. And if you think that studio executives pick release dates by playing pin the tail on the calendar, think again. Toy Story 3 came out on June 18th, 2010. Father's Day weekend. Toy Story 4 came out 5 days after Father's Day weekend, probably because Universal already got that slot with Men in Black International. Lightyear came out on June 17th, 2022, Father's Day weekend. And now we have Toy Story 5, also debuting on Father's Day weekend. Toy Story is an old man series, much like The Expendables, except one that they can bring their kids to enjoy with them. And Pixar knows it. That's why they keep releasing Toy Story on Father's Day weekend. Pixar is not unaware that dads like me are dragging their kids to see the latest Woody and Buzz adventure because this is the thing we all grew up on, and we want to pass that love of it on to our kids. So let's talk Toy Story 5. The movie opens up with Buzz Lightyear and Buzz Lightyear and Buzz Lightyear with a cargo ship having crashed on an island. All the Buzz Lightyears start waking up and realize that they are deserted on a deserted island. Deserted? I suddenly want ice cream. Now, personally, I kind of would have liked to see how the ship crashed. I think it would be kind of cool if the Buzz Lightyears were being shipped on the same crate as like a bunch of Zurg upgrades. And so then they start getting into a fight and they somehow freaks the pilots out, or the ship drivers, the captains. It freaks them out. They jump overboard or something and then the boat crashes, because all the Toy Story movies open up with something you least expect. And yeah, we're not really expecting them to wake up on an island, but they pretty much show that in the trailers, so there was no surprise going in. I think the surprise could have been how the boat actually crashed and how Buzz Lightyear, or any one of them, caused the crash. That also could have been a really fun scene for the animation department to illustrate. I don't think Pixar has ever had a ship sinking scene, have they? Bear in mind, this is the first Toy Story movie that doesn't feature You've Got a Friend in Me. Which is fine, I'm not upset about it, but it's kind of like going to a Star Wars movie and not experiencing the main theme blasting in your ears with the text scroll at the beginning. It just solidified for me that Toy Story 5 really is a spin-off or it's just a side quest. And by the end of this video, you'll probably see why this could have just been on Disney+. But now at this point, any doubts that this is a story about Jessie are completely squashed. Right away, it's all about Jessie. And I'm not at all complaining about that. I actually really like Jessie. She's one of my favorite characters in Toy Story. But pushing her and her only as the front and center, I think was a mistake. And it was just another feeling of this is just a side quest. It doesn't have the weight or the importance of Woody and Buzz making these tough decisions at the spur of the moment. Sidelining Woody and Buzz was an absolute disgrace. There's no reason why the three of them couldn't have headlined this movie. And it has nothing to do with keeping Toy Story a boy movie or not making it be a girl movie. You're going to hear a lot of people say that this is a girl boss movie, which it absolutely is not. I am very proud to say. Yes, is this movie more feminine than the previous Toy Story installments, minus number 4? Absolutely it is, and I'm completely okay with that. But I don't think that should have happened at the expense of Woody and Buzz. It's just such a shame to see two of the most popular characters on the planet be sidelined as sidekicks or punchlines. And sadly, we're used to that with Buzz from part 4. They didn't really improve him from the last movie. They just made more of him so that they could go back to the original story's plot of Buzz Lightyear not knowing that he's a toy. Which there's a scene in the movie, it doesn't make sense because they come across this family in a tent in the forest, which is cool because I've always wanted to see the Toy Story game get caught in the forest. So that was kind of fun. But then one of the Buzzes gets captured by this boy and he's hugging him. And the other Buzzes are looking on and they realize, oh, this is our purpose. Like, this is great. He's making a child happy. Why didn't Buzz learn that lesson the minute Andy started playing with him? It took an entire movie for Buzz to learn that. So I don't understand why suddenly in this movie they see Buzz getting hugged by a kid and, okay, let's keep going. That's great. That doesn't make sense. Now, here's the thing my 11-year-old pointed out to me. He turned to me and he said, I wish they thought that they were on an alien planet. And I go, what do you mean? They do. I think they know they're not on their planet. And he goes, but they have their helmets off. I look and lo and behold, none of the Buzzes have their helmets on. And if you look at the first 2 Toy Story movies, that's a big plot device because the pre-redemption Buzz Lightyear, who's straight out of the toy store, doesn't want to breathe in the toxic air of this planet. And it's these little things that start piling up throughout Toy Story 5 that disjoints it from the rest of the series. As fun as it is to watch all of these Buzz dolls be let loose, it does present a major problem for me. Because suddenly, the Toy Story world has been shrunk down to the size of a city block. We're supposed to believe that all these Buzz dolls get past customs, they're crossing state lines, highwaymen aren't finding them, late night drivers. And if you think I'm nitpicking, look at Woody and Bo Peep. They said goodbye in the last movie. Now that Woody is back, that goodbye means nothing. There's nothing sad about it anymore. Because now they can just call him up and he can just hop on over anytime he wants. Which again shrinks the Toy Story world down to a very small portion of the world. Which makes me think, is this neighborhood the only place where toys come to life? Does this just not happen anywhere else in the world? Is it just an Andy and Bonnie's neighborhood? Like, if this were going to be a true Toy Story movie, there would have been a full-on quest for Woody and Bo Peep just to get to Bonnie's house. But what's stopping Buzz from going to visit Woody and helping him out with the lost toys? And it's like, there's so many Toy Story movies that it's starting to veer toward the Fast and the Furious where there's so much for the writers to keep up with. They have no other option but to discard a lot of the rules that they've set up early on. And then we have Bonnie. Bonnie, she's perfectly fine. She's a cute little girl. I have no issues with her. I do have issues with time standing still for her, though. That's what was so fun about the original Toy Story movies, is that they grew up along with us. They mirrored our time, right? Which made it feel so much more real. But with these latest Toy Story films, it's like we're stuck in a Simpsons episode. Nobody's aging out. But except for Woody, he's getting bald. And apparently he can shapeshift now because he can stick his belly out like he swallowed a bunch of marbles. I don't like that. I don't like any of that. It's not like they're having too much fun. It's just they're having fun without minding the rules. And you wait and see. When you go back and rewatch this on Disney Plus, it will become very clear that Woody had no reason to be there at all. They simply shoehorned Woody in for marketing to get more butts in the seat. And he provided nothing to the story. If you hear the dryer going, that's on me. My wife's coming home soon. I just want to make sure the laundry's done. Sorry. Subscribe to my channel so I can buy better sound equipment, I guess. But pushing Woody aside to an embarrassing degree, it's like if Batman Begins, and instead of having Scarecrow for like 5 minutes, we have Heath Ledger's Joker for 5 minutes. It wouldn't make sense. The waste of the best thing you have. I guess maybe because they figure we've gotten used to them downgrading Buzz, they just figure we'll be okay with them downgrading our other hero, so, what difference does it make? Now, with the two main storylines, you have Jessie trying to make Bonnie have friends, and then you have this whole dialogue about tech and technology, and how it's overtaking kids' lives. I think those are two very good stories to tell on Disney+. It just felt like it took so much effort to stretch this out into an hour and a half or 2-hour movie. Because suddenly, you just had so many different things going on, and introducing so many characters. Oh my gosh. Don't they see that they've already created the problem of having too many characters to begin with? I didn't hear a word from Rex, from Slinky, from Ham, from Mr. Potato Head. I'm sure if they did talk, they just used archived footage. It was an embarrassment. We had less of them than we did in part 4. And so I just don't get the need to add so many characters. I get having Lillypad. I even get having Smarty Pants. Just having Conan O'Brien in this movie should have made this an A+ for me. I was bored. I was bored. Through like all of this movie, I was so bored. By the time we got to Jessie underneath the tree in the big moment where she finds out that Emily named her daughter Jessie, which is very sweet and very well thought of. But by that point, I just wanted to go home. Nothing connected. The whole tech thing with the farm, with Buzz wanting to propose and he's acting like a little queer. He's kicking his foot up when Jessie finally kisses him. Like, so many things didn't go together. There were just so many conflicting ideas. Like, is tech bad? Is it good? Should we use it? You know, if anybody's the bad guy here, it's the parents. They should not have given in and bought her a device. We're just like, oh, the only way Bonnie will ever have friends is to get her a device. So we're just going to hook her up to the internet. If you ever listen to John Deloney, he says, when you give the kids a device, you're not giving them access to the world. You're giving the world access to them. My kids don't have their own devices. They are 11 and 12, and they're perfectly content. They still play games. They still play with their Legos, all because my wife and I have refused to buy devices for them. And it's like, look at the offing yourself rate. Look at the rate of depression. Just a lot of it is because of these devices. And so, yeah, Bonnie's parents are absolutely the bad guys here. They are the true villains. They needed to be put in their place. The movie needed to swivel back to them and pin them as the bad guys. They need to put in some more effort to figure out where to place Bonnie so that she can socialize with other kids her age. There's still kids out there that play, and you don't have to go to Amish Town to find that. Sadly, this is the only Toy Story movie where I didn't feel anything. It's like going to a comedy and not laughing once, which sadly, we all know what that's like. My kids didn't even like it. After the movie, I said, what'd you guys think? And they're like, ah. So no wonder we're getting a 9th Minions movie. Pixar can't tell a good story anymore. Something else I wanted to say about like the B and the C plot in these movies all of a sudden. We're getting so many more movies where it's feeling like a TV show where there's got to be a B plot. When you look at like a direct-to-video movie, like Disney used to put out, I've only seen like a couple of them. There's like the story, and then there's the B plot, and sometimes the C plot. Or just like 20 minutes in an episode of a sitcom. There was almost always a B plot underneath the main plot. But when you look at a full 90-minute, 2-hour movie, there's just one plot going all the way through. And that's what's being focused on. That's good storytelling. That's remaining focused on the point. But now we have Pixar trying to pile in all these different plots in Toy Story films instead of focusing on the main driver of the film. And it just goes to show that they didn't have the right ideas yet to make this movie. The best ideas hadn't yet been flushed out. And so, no, they absolutely should not have made this movie when they did. They should have kept working on it. They should have figured out how to incorporate Woody and Buzz into Jessie's journey. And don't tell me that can't be done, because when Woody was having his midlife crisis, his journey, they didn't sideline Buzz or Jessie. They were just as part of the journey as Woody was. They were supporters. They were helpers in every sense of the word. He could turn to them. They offered advice. They helped change him while he changed them. It was a give and take. They traveled through these stories together. And so this didn't absolutely have to be only a Jessie movie. Now let's talk about the good things about this film. Let's talk about the good things. I liked the closure of Jessie's story. I really did. I thought that was really sweet and really well done. But I do think that could have been extended a bit more. When Jessie got into the house, I would have loved to have flashbacks of her and Emily dancing around the living room. That could have been really sweet. As far as the characters' motives, I was really confused. Because when the old people took Jessie into their Volkswagen, they like said the address out loud and they said, this belongs to Emily. But then when Emily was in the mailbox at 1200 Acreage Way or whatever it was, at Emily's house, did she not hear the old people? Did she not care that she was back at Emily's house? I didn't get that, because she was still trying to get away from the house. Wouldn't that have stopped her cold in her tracks? Either this movie really doesn't make sense, or the world is so small. Like, it just makes me ask, how many times has she driven past Emily's house? She's just used to seeing it. This is just her first time back inside? Like, I don't get that. If you found yourself back at your childhood home, you would probably want to linger for a bit. Unless that childhood home happens to be on your daily commute to and from work. And so once again, the Toy Story world is really, really tiny. I mean, there's a scene in the film where the one car that they have to freeze for when they're on the road is a Pizza Planet truck. I don't think Pizza Planet is a franchise. And yeah, I know it's the thing to put that truck in every Pixar movie. I get it. But it just, again, it was another thing. It was like, it's such a small world in this Toy Story universe. And so by the time Jessie gets inside Emily's house, the audience, we're just waiting for her to catch up to us. And that is never a good thing. And that's the first time, I think, that the audience knows what's going on before the characters do in a Toy Story movie. Something else I really liked, I liked having a lot more Bullseye. I mean, I love Bullseye. He's great. So it was fun that Bullseye did get to go with Jessie on their adventure. Now, not once in this movie do I feel like they were ever in danger. Throughout the entire film, we keep cutting back to Bonnie. Bonnie. Always going back to Bonnie, feeling like they could just cross the street and they're back at Bonnie's house. What made the isolation in Toy Stories 1 through 3 so effective is that we only saw Andy at the beginning and only saw him at the end. Except for maybe one cutback in the first movie, we never saw Andy throughout the toys' adventures. The goal was to get back to him. And so when we keep cutting back and forth to Bonnie, pretty much what they did in the fourth movie too, there's no sense of danger, there's no sense of a ticking clock, and there's no sense of the toys actually being lost. And what's up with Buzz? They're doing that old trope where the guy can't propose, he's too tongue-tied. They've completely given up on Buzz. Pixar, for some reason, hates him so much. It's just stupid, because Buzz and Jessie have been living together in Toy Story time for at least 10 years. Between 10 and 15 years, they have known each other and been best friends. And he can't bother to... She doesn't know... do they not... Come on. Are we trying to do Friends all over again where Rachel just can't get a clue?
She's not Rachel?
So that was stupid. It brought me back to Frozen 2. They did that with the guy character, and that really pissed me off. I hate when they do that. But that's all he is. That's his entire thing. And then you have Buzz and Woody, the dynamic duo. The two best friends we love the most. And they spend the whole time, what? Squabbling? Fighting? Both trying to take the leadership position? Didn't we take care of that back in 1995? Why are we back to that? They think that if we see them fighting again, just like it's going to bring back such great memories of Woody and Buzz, being at odds. No, it just pissed me off because now they're back at square one. And we don't know how long they've been apart. Apparently not long because Bonnie's younger than she was in the last film. And they even call it out in the movie. They're like, well, at least they're fighting again. No, that's not a good thing. I don't want them to fight anymore. Why can't you make them work together as they've done for the previous 3 films? And the whole thing with Lillypad, I don't think her reasoning for throwing herself on that truck was compelling enough. Like, the toys have been telling her the entire time that she was ruining Bonnie's life. But then she sees a couple of mean texts, a meme of a baby crying, and that's enough to get her to jump into a truck and disappear forever? I didn't buy that at all. Another cop-out, just to quickly turn a character around so that they can redeem themselves. Just one more thing that didn't work for this movie. Like, Woody was an asshole for all of Toy Story 1. And he had chance after chance after chance to redeem himself. But he continually chose not to. That's how life is. It takes a long time and a lot of mistakes and a lot of dirty moments for us to finally get it. Sometimes it could take decades to finally sink in. And I'm not saying that it needed to take that long for Lillypad. I get that you have a time constraint to where you have to redeem your characters, but you've got to make the redemption believable. And you've got to give that redemption a hook. Like, why did that happen in the first place? And that hook cannot be the same things that everybody's been telling you for the previous hour of the movie. One more thing I did like Blaze. Blaze won me over real quick. She is a great character. She is easily my favorite Pixar kid. She was funny, she was sweet, she was bold. She was totally self-deprecating with the whole beer thing. I loved Blaze. She was fantastic. So if they do make a new Toy Story movie, I really want Blaze to be the center child. Or let's age Bonnie up a little bit. Let's fix the timeline. Maybe Blaze and Bonnie are teenagers together. That could be kind of fun. I don't know. I'm not trying to throw ideas out there. I'm just saying, make Toy Story 6, if you're going to make it at all. Oh, please. Make it better than this. And maybe this is a great movie for little kids because there's so many colors and cute things. So do I hate Toy Story 5? No, I don't hate it, but I don't like it either. I kind of can't wait for the hype to die down because at some point in the near future, people will start realizing that they kind of pulled a Phantom Menace on us. Where it was just so exciting to see everybody back together again. But once we start picking the film apart, it's going to fall apart pretty easily. You let me know down below. Did your little kids like this movie? Did you as a parent like this movie? What did you and did you not like about Toy Story 5? I'd really like to have a discussion going. In the meantime, check out my previous Toy Story movies where I talk about how deep those movies actually get into our lives. Otherwise, thanks for hanging out with me. Until next time, I'll see you in the next video.